My guy, Chris, I'll get you guys thought about this. Oh, John, we'll start with you, even though he says bad dog. Why do you think Isaiah Simmons hasn't played at all this year?
Great question. So he did get a couple more snaps on defense last week. I think he had a pass deflection or something. I really don't know what the reason is and why he seems to only be a special teams guy, because you can't look at our talent in the secondary and be like, yeah, we don't need Isaiah Simmons. Like, they just cut Nick McLeod.
Right.
Our corners are a mess. Like, you want to bench Tay Banks, you have no one else to put him in. And Isaiah Simmons, of all people, was getting reps with the corners all during the summer. So put him in as cornerback. Like, you want to sit Tay Banks, now you don't have Nick McLeod anymore. I understand that Adoree and Flott are both back and they're healthy now. But, I mean, just try it. Like, at this point, they're 2-7. The team sucks. They're 0-4 in the division. Like, it's the same thing with Evan Neal. Like, just put these guys in, let them play. What are we waiting for at this point?
Yeah. It's funny because Isaiah Simmons was a safety at Clemson. He's always kind of been like a guy that had no position, which is why they had a hard time playing him in Arizona because they played him at linebacker and he really wasn't good at linebacker to me. And then they played a lot of him in the second, a lot of corner, a lot of slot in the summer. I really would just like to see him be a damn pass rusher. I feel like if you just told Isaiah Simmons, hey, just go get the quarterback, I feel like he'd be really good at it. He's fast as hell. He ran a 4.3 something 40. He's tall. He's lean. He's athletic. I just let him go after the quarterback, but I'm not the head coach. So Anthony, what do you think the reason is they never use Isaiah Simmons?
Yeah, I thought he was a little bit underutilized last year, but he still found ways to make impact, and he was used definitely more than he is this year. This year, I think the answer is Drew Phillips. Drew Phillips has been so good as a nickel cornerback. He's been banged up a couple of times here or there, missed a game in week 4, but I mean, he's been so good. And when you watch the way that they're aligning Drew Phillips, yeah, he's a nickel cornerback, but he's really lining up almost as a linebacker and playing the exact role that Isaiah Simmons is signed to play. So I think that they probably wanted to get him involved, and they knew that they needed to resign him just because Drew Phillips is a rookie and they didn't know exactly what role he was going to play in the defense. But as soon as he got on the field in week 1, he was playing in the box on a lot of those plays, like pretty much as an outside linebacker right next to Bobby Okereke. One of those tackles for losses that he had in week 1, he was standing right next to Bobby Okereke, shot a gap and made a tackle in the backfield.
Yes,
that was a linebacker play. That's Drew Phillips, the cornerback. That's exactly what they want Isaiah Simmons to do. Drew Phillips is just doing it better. So I think he's just keeping him off the field. If Drew Phillips gets banged up, I think we should see more Isaiah Simmons. But honestly, it's tough to take a kid like that off the field. He's young. You want to develop him, so he's got to get more reps. And that's really what the Giants need to be looking at, is getting this rookie class as fully developed as they can. And I just think Drew Phillips is that good that he keeps people off the field right now, and that person being Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah, I mean, Drew Phillips has been one of the pleasant surprises. Again, I think Joe Shane did a pretty good job with this draft class. I like Drew Phillips a lot. And it's just funny that, Isaiah Simmons doesn't cost a lot of money. It's just weird that they have not found a spot for him. I thought with Shane Bowen, they might just be able to plug him in a place and let him play, but he just hasn't caught on. I mean, that was a 7th. I definitely wanted to draft him. I remember saying I want to draft Isaiah Simmons. I loved him at Clemson. And it just goes to show you how hard it is to get even these top 10 picks, man. They don't always pan out, especially the quarterback spot. It's just hard. I mean, Evan Neal, we talk about him ad nauseum. I still don't know why the hell we're not trying him at left tackle. It just doesn't make any sense to me why we don't. John, like you said, what are we looking for? Our season's over. Why don't you at least try him there? Can he be worse? No. Can he be as bad? Sure, but what the hell is the difference? We lose anyway. Right. But you might end up developing him. I mean, I don't know. Again, I'm not the head coach. There's a lot of head scratching moves. It's easy to be armchair quarterback and say, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? But at the end of the day, they know better than we do. I say it all the time. That's why they are where they are. We are where we are. But Isaiah Simmons, I was so happy when we got him. I thought for sure Wink Martindale would make that kid into a beast because he does blitz a lot. And I feel like Simmons could really be a really good A or B gap blitzer from the linebacker position, but they never really used him. So Chris, I don't know why they haven't used him. And I think Anthony made a good point is that Drew Phillips has probably just kept him off the field. But if I look at Isaiah Simmons, he's a little bigger than Landon Collins was. But I always felt like Isaiah Simmons could be like, I always felt like Landon Collins was a guy that was really good at like the Dion Buchanan money back role, because I didn't feel like he was a good cover safety, but obviously he was the closer to the line of scrimmage he got, the better he was, and he could play some safety. I don't know why they don't do that with Isaiah Simmons. Like they don't use him as a money backer type of spot, because I feel like he's athletic enough to do it. He's got some cover skills, but who knows, what we got